Daily Mass Readings and Reflection. August 25th, 2023. Feast Day of Saint Louis, a King, and Saint Joseph Calasanz, a priest. First reading is taken from the book of Ruth chapter 1. Verses 1, 3 to 6, 14 to 16, and 22. Once in the time of the judges there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem of Judah departed with his wife and 2 sons to reside on the plateau of Moab. Elimelech, the husband of Naomi, died, and she was left with her 2 sons, who married Moabite women, one named Orpah, the other Ruth. When they had lived there about 10 years, Esboth-Mahlon and Chilion died also. And the woman was left with neither her 2 sons nor her husband. She then made ready to go back from the plateau of Moab, because word reached her there that the Lord had visited his people and given food. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth stayed with her. Naomi said, "See now, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her God. Go back after your sister-in-law." But Ruth said, "Do not ask me to abandon or forsake you. For wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you lodge I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God." Thus it was that Naomi returned with the Moabite daughter-in-law, Ruth, who accompanied her back from the plateau of Moab. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. Responsorial Song. Praise the Lord, my soul. A reading from our Holy Gospel according to Matthew chapter 22. Verses 34 to 40. When the Pharisees heard that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together. 5 and one of them, a scholar of the law, tested him by asking, "Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" He said to him, "You shall love the Lord, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." The whole law and the prophets depend on these 2 commandments. Today's reflection for our Holy Gospel. The greatest and the first commandment. The Gospels often refer to the Sadducees and the Pharisees having conflict with and testing Jesus. Both were religious sects within Judaism during Jesus' time. Both groups honored Moses and the law. Both had a measure of political power. The importance of the commandments had long been debated by the religious leaders. Some held the view that observing the Sabbath was the most important of all commandments. Others valued circumcision over all else. So here, when Jesus is asked to weigh in on the question, which commandment in the law is the greatest, he is perhaps expected to pick sides in an already contentious debate. He plunges into a new area of insight by answering not only which commandment is the greatest, but how people may go about fulfilling it. You shall love the Lord, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. Then he adds a second commandment, taking from Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. He joins the second with the first commandment by saying it is like it. For Jesus, loving God is inseparably linked to loving other people. John echoes this statement when he says, "If anyone says, 'I love God,' but hates his brother, he is a liar." 1 John chapter 4, verse 20.